Hey guys, Toy Tell Like It Is, a big day of news in the football world. Zinedine Zidane scripted walk-off away from Real Madrid 5 days after winning the Champions League final, 23 days before his 46th birthday. The former Juventus player Zinedine Zidane, this is all big signs that Juventus is going to win the 2018-2019 Champions League. It is Juventus' Champions League campaign that ended at Madrid this season. It's going to end at Madrid next year in the Champions League final. Zidane, currently 45 years old. When he resigned, it is Paulo Dybala. It is Dybala in gematria that equals 45. He would be the key player for Juventus. Zinedine Zidane's age right now. Someday, I think Zinedine Zidane's going to be managing Paulo Dybala. I think Zinedine Zidane will manage the Bianconero at some point after Massimiliano Allegri leaves the club. Allegri would not leave this year, but he would leave next year. Today's date is May the 31st. Zinedine Zidane's birthday is on June the 23rd. The 23rd day of June, it is Juventus that would end a 23-year Champions League title drought. 2019, last time they won, 1996. Perfect by the numbers, they won on May the 22nd of 1996. Inter Milan won in 2010 on May the 22nd. Italian teams have a huge tendency to win championships at Madrid. Happened throughout history, including the 1982 World Cup. So Zinedine Zidane announces he's going to leave Real Madrid 23 days before his birthday on the 23rd day of June. Next year's final is going to be played on June the 1st. June the 1st of 2019 adds up to 46. This is occurring 23 days before Zinedine Zidane's 46th birthday. His 46th birthday, 23 days from now, is going to hold major significance for the end of the title drought for Juventus. And just like the headline says, he walks out 5 days after sealing the Champions League trophy. La Liga's Champions League dominance is going to end at 5 straight years. Look at the one team that was the biggest threat to La Liga. Not Bayern Munich, not Manchester City, not PSG, not Chelsea, not any of these teams. It is Juventus. Playing in the 2015 final against Barcelona, played against Real Madrid. In the 2017 final, 2 of the other years, it was fellow Spanish club Atletico Madrid that made it to the final. Juventus has the defense to be able to knock off the top competition. Those that understand the game of football and don't just look at individual players would really understand what I'm talking about. Interesting enough, it is Juventus that would end the 5-year streak for La Liga. Juventus lost 5 straight Champions League finals orchestrated by the Zionists. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 5 holds a lot of meaning for next year, it turns out. And this is why. It all has to do with Zinedine Zidane walking out of Real Madrid. And for those of you guys that are going to ask about Emre Can, taking over number 23 next year, number 23 who played for Liverpool. Liverpool didn't win the final, but the right interpretation of Emre Can wearing number 23 now and losing the final with Liverpool, his last game was all going to be in tribute for what was happening in the last 22 years. Notice that Zinedine Zidane's birthday is 22 days right after June the 1st. This holds a lot of meaning. Emre Can losing the final with Liverpool was all in tribute for what was happening to Juventus in the last 22 years. His number 23 signifies the end of the drought. Zidane's last game with Real Madrid, Emre Can's last game with the loser of the Champions League final, number 23. This is all going to be in tribute. And you know Zinedine Zidane's record with Real Madrid. 104 victories with Real Madrid. And you know the end of a 23-year title drought for Juventus, the Freemason team, Massone in Italian equals 23. Here it is. Here it is. 104 victories for Real Madrid with Zinedine Zidane. Fino al fine, until the end for Juventus. Until the end equals 104. The Juventus slogan that Zinedine Zidane lives and breathes with both clubs. He's a fan of Real Madrid and he's a fan of Juventus. Those are his two clubs, Zinedine Zidane. 104 wins for Real Madrid. This is all, definitely all, going to be in tribute for what's going to happen for next year's season. 130 is the next step to break down for this Champions League, but 13 years after the World Cup, Juventus wins, Buffon's former club. This is all going to be in tribute to what the great goalkeeper could never do in his biggest trophy in the World Cup against France. Definitely a big reason why this is all going to boil down against Paris Saint-Germain next year. In Gematria, Zinedine equals 86. You know, Massone in Italian, Gematria equals 86. You know, this is why Zidane played for Juventus. This is all syncing up. 23 days before his 46th birthday, the Champions League final, the date numerology of 46, 45 years old right now. Dybala equals 45, plays for Messi Messiah's Argentina team. That's going to win the World Cup this year. All lining up by the numbers. He resigns 52 weeks before June the 1st. 52 weeks. It's Italian Gematria that equals 52. All lining up once again. The 25th Champions League, since it was called the Champions League, was the last time Juventus was in the Champions League final. 27th Champions League next year, 2-7 in the final. This is all starting to sync up. Zinedine Zidane, how many games and how many goals he scored with Juventus? This is all going to be in tribute for next year. Well, he scored 31 goals with the Bianconero. It is Madrid and Gematria that equals 31, but look at how many European games and how many European goals he scored. Once again, Juventus losing its last 5 finals. La Liga won the last 5 Champions Leagues. Zinedine Zidane scored 5 European goals with Juventus. He played 41 total Champions League games with Juventus. Buffon is going to be 41 in January of next year. Juventus last won the 41st Champions League. 23 years later would be the 64th Champions League. And once again, Ciudad de Madrid, where the final is going to be hosted at next year, 64. La Joya, the Drew Dybala, 64. Coach Allegri, 3-7 in the final. His last 2 finals were already decided. They were scripted. It wasn't Juventus losing the games. It was Juventus carrying out a script. Juventus Football Club equals 64. All starting to line up in the 64 Champions League for the Bianconeri to be the first team in 6 years to knock off La Liga. It's going to be the Bianconeri. They're going to end La Liga's Champions League drought. They're going to win the Champions League in 2019. Zidane leaving Real Madrid tells it all. Former Juventino.